Good evening. Time for another dose of the red pill. Our first article is going to come to us from TMZ.com concerning one of the most heartbreaking cases of the past 10 years, which is the media elite's crucifixion of the beloved Bill Cosby, who represented absolutely everything every young minority child should want to be. Bill Cosby's daughter, Insa, who steadfastly supported her dad through his legal troubles, has died, TMZ has learned. The 44-year-old died Friday night in Massachusetts, sources tell TMZ. Insa was always in her dad's corner, releasing a statement last year, quote, "My father's been publicly lynched in the media, and my family, my young daughter, my young niece and nephew have had to stand helplessly by and watch the double standard, while pretending to protect the rights of some, but ignoring the rights of others." That's right. The liberal cabal is all about protecting the rights of the women. But what about the man's rights? What about Bill Cosby's rights to do what is in his DNA? She went on to say, quote, "I strongly believe my father is innocent of all the crimes alleged against him." Okay, well, take back the thing that I said before. What about his rights to a fair trial? That's what I meant to say. Okay. Quote, "I strongly believe my father is innocent in the crimes alleged against him, and I believe that racism has played a big role in all aspects of this scandal." You're goddamn right. Makes me sick to see racism. The cause of death is unknown, although we're told she had significant medical issues in the past. We're told she had kidney issues and possibly was in line for a transplant. Well, who among us is not in line for a transplant of one thing or another? This is not the first of Cosby's children to die. Ennis Cosby was murdered in 1997 by an 18-year-old in a failed robbery attempt. Now, if that doesn't scream conspiracy theory to you, then you are not paying attention. They want to take this fine representation, this true dreamer child, who has achieved great things such as the goddamn Cosby Show, one of the finest pieces of entertainment we've ever produced. They take him, they turn him into a scapegoat. Makes me sick. And when his daughter speaks out, they kill her. Alright, now, that was just, I guess what I would call an amuse-bouche if I wanted to trade in my man card. Okay, this comes to us from CNN.com. Although, to be fair, I did get to it via a link from True Pundit, so I don't want you to think I was just looking at CNN. By Jeremy Diamond, updated 5:28 p.m. Eastern Time, Feb 26, 2018. Trump on Florida shooting. I really believe I'd have run in there, even if I didn't have a weapon. Now that's a goddamn leader for you. Washington. President Donald Trump said Monday he would have stormed into the Florida high school to stop the gunmen perpetrating the nation's latest mass shooting, quote, "even if I didn't have a weapon," as he lambasted the inaction of the sheriff's deputies assigned to the school. "You don't know until you test it, but I think I'd really believe I'd run in there, even if I didn't have a weapon, and I think most of the people in this room would have done that too," Trump told a gathering of U.S. governors at the White House. "You're damn right. You're goddamn right. Although, I certainly wouldn't be cut dead without my weapon." Signaling more than one sheriff's deputy was at fault, Trump said the Broward County Sheriff's deputies, who remained outside the school as the shooting unfolded, quote, "weren't exactly Medal of Honor winners," and said, quote, "the way they performed was frankly disgusting." "The way they performed was really a disgrace," Trump added. "You're goddamn right. The way they performed was characteristic of the liberals. Sitting by, all they want to do is whine. Oh, I'm getting shot. Oh, people are getting shot. I'm a snowflake. Oh, get in there and do something." White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders later said Trump was touting his willingness to be a leader. Asked by CNN's Jim Acosta if the president has been trained in using a handgun or firearm, Sanders said, "I don't think that was the point he was making. He was saying that he would be a leader and would take a courageous action." A lot of the individuals that helped protect others that day weren't carrying firearms, which I think shows that you can be helpful in that process without it, she said. Yeah, I can hear you goddamn liberals out there saying, "Ooh, but he's racist. Ooh, but he doesn't care about anyone but himself. And especially if they're not white people." Well, all the people I've seen talking about living through the tragedy have been young, attractive white ladies. So I guess your argument doesn't really hold up, does it? I mean, it's not relevant, is what I'm trying to say. It's a moot point. Except for that one, shaved head girl, you know what I'm talking about? She looks sort of ambiguously ethnic. But she definitely looks white and attractive enough that I'm sure the president would have been happy to, save her or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Last week, Trump called out Scott Peterson, the armed school resource officer who stayed outside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School as the shooting unfolded, saying he didn't have the courage. On Monday, Trump said Peterson, quote, choked. Now, I can hear you snowflakes out there saying, "Oh, but isn't this an example of how arming people doesn't, save anyone?" Here's an example, a perfect example of someone who was literally on campus with a gun meant to protect people, and it didn't matter. He couldn't stop the young man with his the intent to do harm. And, I say, can you stop politicizing it for one goddamn minute? You make me sick. Anyway, moving on. I said moving on. CNN's Jake Tapper reported last week that 3 other Broward County sheriffs were also outside the school and had not entered. The deputies had the pistols drawn and were behind their vehicles, the sources said, and not one of them went into the school. Peterson's attorney rejected criticism of his client's actions in a statement Monday, saying, quote, "The allegations Mr. Peterson was a coward and that his performance under the circumstances failed to meet the standards of police officers are patently untrue." That's right. Wait. Never mind. The Broward County Sheriff's deputies' actions were not only law enforcement actions Trump has criticized in the wake of the shooting. Trump has lambasted the FBI for its failure to act on a tip received about the Parkland shooter before the shooting. Very sad that the FBI missed all the many signals sent out by the Florida school shooter. This is not acceptable, Trump said in a tweet last week, before attempting to tie the FBI's failure to its investigation of potential collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Oh, CNN, you sons of bitches. Well, of course it has to do with that. If they had been wasting so much time trying to dig up false Russia stuff, then they would have had time to go in and stop the shooter. But they were like, oh no. I mean, I don't know if this is a direct quote, but I'm going to say allegedly they said exactly this. "Oh, we don't have time to stop the shooter. We're trying to dig up dirt on this beloved, beautiful American president because we're a bunch of sons of bitches." Allegedly, that is exactly what they said. And that's the red pill truth.